Commence primary ignition.
Hey there, friends, fans, and collectors. Welcome to another episode of Binary Sunset Review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Tantive IV playset. Now, this is a very exciting piece, which is available now across pretty much every distributor, and I can't wait to dive in and really show some of the awesomeness of this playset. Let's get going. Before I begin, I want to remind everyone to hit the subscribe button below.
Get ready.
That way you'll stay on the forefront of the best Star Wars news and reviews as soon as I make them. The Tantive IV is the iconic Corellian Corvette, the blockade runner as they used to call them, that we have loved for over 40 years now. Now this ship has been seen through a bunch of different iconic images in the movie, and it really is special that we're getting this hallway, this design in a vintage collection so that we can further display our figures in really, really cool designs. And as I've mentioned this before, one of the best things about Star Wars is the universe that's built around it and it feeling lived in and real. And one of these, this is really, really great to express for our figures because, you know, our figures are great, our figures are beautifully designed, but it means something extra special if we have a world to have them live in, to make them feel more real, and to make them display in like a much more attractive way. All of these playsets, especially the last two, have been designed to expand upon each other and to kind of build to create even more scenes and a more immersive design for your figures and for collectors. This is an amazingly cool idea, especially when you box them with army building figures. Now, the great thing about these playsets is they've all been boxed with carded vintage collection figures that go right along in the line. This is amazing. It's genius. More things should be printed with carded vintage collection figures because it's really what collectors love. And they've gotten the idea down pretty well with the Tantive for having a Rebel Trooper be on it. This playset retails for $50. All of these vintage collection playsets retail for around $50. In my opinion, that's still a little bit too much, even with the carded figure. But when they're on sale at certain retailers for, you know, even just like $38, that really makes these affordable and really makes you want to pick up like 2 or 3. So these were recently available for those price. Hopefully they'll be around that price. It is hit or miss to say where these ones are going to go because these are amazing. This one is amazing and this one was flying off shelves. The carbon freezing chamber has been going for like $30, $24 I've seen it for. They practically can't give it away. So, I mean, they'll get rid of them when they drop it to the price of just the carded figure that's inside of it. But this one, don't sleep on this one. This one's going to go. Here we have the front of the box for the Tantive IV Corridor playset. This is one of the most iconic vehicles and now one of the more iconic moments across 2 different Star Wars films of defending and running away in this specific corridor. This is a vintage collection playset, so we see the double silver piping around the Star Wars image. We have the Luke and Leia saga image that's right there in the center, the Kenner logo at the bottom. We have colors and stickers of promo images that were used in old Kenner designs that are brought back for the vintage collection. This one indicating that is a carded Rebel Trooper is included with this playset, which is amazing. That's one of the greatest parts of these playsets, that they've all included carded figures for the most part, if not 2, which is fabulous. So looking on, there's a lot going on in this front, but this is the playset. Oh, pardon me, Trooper. This is the playset that we get right here. It is one of the pieces of the corridor. They are very smart in their marketing where, you know, you get army building troopers that go with these playsets and they combine together to make even more impressive designs. We have one of the edges of the boxes here. We also have the Star Wars and Saga logo. We have a great image of where we remember this corridor from A New Hope and Darth Vader, you know, looking for the plans. There's a little arrow that indicates that these doors do open, so you can stage these scenes to be even more accurate. And then we have on the other edge of the boxing, we have another as remembered from screen scene that is done all with vintage collection figures here, which is just a really cool addition that they do to these vintage collection playsets. It's just every image here is a memory here, and this is a nice little one next to all of the legal nonsense. And this is great. One of the cooler, more surprising bits to this playset is that it also, on the opposite side of the corridor, includes the kind of reactor room and escape pod room where Princess Leia puts the plans in R2. So you can also, on the opposite side, get another really great iconic diorama from the first Star Wars film. Here we have our vintage collection style instructions that come with the Tantive IV playset. This side is the assembly instructions. Everything had pretty, very simple snap, plug and play instructions, and they do come apart very easily, so you can reassemble them in different formations. We have the Star Wars logo at the top, the Sago logo with Luke and Leia with the lightsaber, the classic. We have the Kenner at the bottom, Hasbro and Disney, and the vintage collection up at the top. Really nice to see all those logos with a pretty minimum legalese. Now flipping over, this is unique. Very exciting is they're little pegs in the floor here. And every vintage collection figure, as we all know, has a little peg in the bottom of their foot. Now, it was almost missable in the packaging, but there was a little tiny manila envelope right here that was full of 10 pegs. Now, these little pegs are very easily losable. I'll zoom in on one right here right now, but that is the size of it. And they very conveniently and very smartly built little holes in the bottom of the playset where you can store these pegs when you're not being used. But they fit into the floor and into the foot of a figure, and you really can stage them like mid-fall or mid-run or completely out of angle that you normally couldn't do with in this kind of playset. This is incredibly cool. It really unlocks some awesome potential, and they're really thinking of just toy photography and staging these things as they're creating them. So hats off Hasbro, really good job at doing this. Just good thing you labeled this. Good thing I knew this was going to be in the package. Luckily I saw it on, I think, either Jedi Business or Yak Face, but I almost lost this thing. This is very missable. We also have another larger display here of if you were to have multiple play sets, what that would look like, and really how expansive you can get the Tantive IV interior. As we see here, there's also an ability to store these in the underside of the playset. I think this is a great job because these are incredibly losable. So here, let's take a look. So as you flip the playset here, you can easily see that there are some pegs. I'm storing the rest of them under there right now, but the missing peg goes right on in to the circle, and it stays there if you give it a little push. And it's a great way to store these pegs, which I would immediately lose if not for this. First impressions out of the box have to be just how amazing this looks to have some figures in it and really stage some of the most iconic scenes in Star Wars history. It really is quite a magnificent piece from all the way down. Now, I only have one of the pieces of the hallway, but I can already imagine just how much more I can create from just having more pieces to this. Even the backside of this playset offers up great opportunities to stage and get some truly amazing photography or cinematography with your figures. Here we have another iconic image and scene of Darth Vader storming down the Tantive IV hallways, a lot calmer than he did in Rogue One, but this nicely displays the doors here that slide open and closed. Pretty neat addition that adds a bunch of options for displaying this playset. This playset already is pretty decently sized, but here from the aerial shot, you really can get a sense of how big it can be if you include additional sidings of the walls and get additional playsets. Now they would all form together to form either a nice closed hallway here, or you can extend the hallway either this direction or further that direction. Really great opportunities, a very neat playset, but it already does come at a pretty decent size, and if you get more, you really can create quite a monstrous interior of the Tantive IV. We have our famous droids running for cover as the door is breached. Hit the subscribe button below. That way you'll stay on the best and the greatest Star Wars news and reviews as soon as I make them. As is standard and a great addition to these vintage collection playsets, it comes with a carded figure. Now the figure that came with this playset is the Rebel Trooper, and it is the same vintage collection Rebel Trooper that we saw years back in the previous Vintage Collection release, but with a different card back, that being Rogue One. Now this is great, it's a great army builder. Not only is the playset amazing that you want to expand upon a bunch, but you know, you'd almost get a couple just for the figure, especially if you can find one of these at a sale price. This Tantive IV playset is available across numerous distributors. I'll leave some links down below for how you can get your own, be sure to click through that. But all in all, a really great piece that I would definitely recommend to any collector out there, especially those of us who really do treasure the original trilogy and hold it close to our hearts. I'll be breaking this interview into two separate parts, the second of which being the figure that is in the box. Now be sure to stay tuned for that review, it'll be coming up shortly. Now unfortunately, based on the packaging, it was pretty difficult to get a mint condition card in this box. That's kind of a norm in these boxed figures, and you know, I don't know what kind of magic and voodoo you can do to fix the card. I have a couple tricks myself, but it's not as bad as other previous playsets have been, but it's still not perfect. Thanks for watching another episode of Binary Sunset Review. Your likes and your views are always greatly appreciated. Be sure to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of this playset and the new vintage collection that we're seeing this year. I am Mike. Have a great day out there. Stay safe, stay sane, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.
I'm just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.